Hi there, Celine here. Welcome to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, a big hello. And I'd really appreciate if you do like my content. I'd love if you liked and subscribed to the channel. Really, really helps. So thank you. And yes, hello, mid-January 2023, when I make this video. I felt like coming on again. A few weeks ago, I made a video about sort of what I was sensing as themes and energies for 2023. Now I want to talk specifically about what I believe can really give you a kickstart to the year, bringing your attention and your focus into the body, becoming embodied. And I believe it is going to be key. I think it's important anyways, but I feel it will really be important in getting a great head start into 2023 and really equipping yourself and resourcing yourself to move through the year with as much ease and flow and power and creativity and without struggle, as little as possible. It's going to be a very exciting year, lots of new beginnings and really coming into our purpose and our mission. I'm beginning to feel a real sense of clarity coming and direction, because I've been spending a lot of time in my own energy and my own space. And I think that's really important. But as we start to step out into the year, I think this idea of becoming very embodied is going to be important. Firstly, I think what is happening, and I know what's happening for me personally and has been very much so last year, is this whole clearing of our shadow, or clearing of any energies that are stuck, any old emotions, any blind spots, things we're not willing, or not willing, but maybe haven't seen about ourselves. And they have to come to the surface to us for us to fully step into our full power. Because if we're storing or holding on to old stories, old wounds, old traumas, anything that is sort of stuck in our bodies, it's very hard for us to really tap into our full energetic power, because there are blocks in the way, and that holds us back from stepping into who we are easily without too much struggle. And I believe that is happening in the world right now as well. So it's happening collectively and it's happening individually. And I think it has been. And hopefully, I'm sure you felt it, and I hope that, you're working through it. And I hope that this video helps you further in doing that, and maybe just bringing a renewed focus to it, because that's what I've been endeavoring to do and continue to do in the last few weeks. So yeah, just knowing that we're in this sort of process of transformation, evolution on the planet. We're moving into the age of Aquarius, Pluto, the planet of rebirth, and regeneration is moving into Aquarius. It hasn't happened, I think, in a few hundred years, so it's going to be very big, a lot of change. So I feel that the best way for me, and I'd recommend for you to really capitalize on that, is to really bring your attention into the body and clear and feel and experience. This is how we move through life more effortlessly. We feel and we release without attaching any old stuck energies. And the way we do this is we have to feel and see what is coming up. Like we are seeing what is coming up and showing its head, sometimes its ugly head on the planet. We have to see it and acknowledge it to release it. And I really believe that that's where we are right now, and we can really support ourselves by bringing our attention into the body. It is very easy. I do it myself, or I have done, less so now, but being sort of all in my head all the time and whirring around, and not really feeling, because the only way, if you think of it, the way we experience life is through our body. it's not through our heads or through our minds. It's a sort of a thought process, but we're really how we feel and experience it. And yes, we can apply a meaning to it, but the true experience is allowing the energies, which is the nature of our reality, to move through our bodies. So that to me is why it's so key, the time we're at right now. And just a word on, I suppose, our bodies and the nature of our bodies. I think we have been conditioned much of the time to believe that our bodies are our enemies, in the sense that if something goes wrong, it's our body letting us down. And I don't believe that at all. Having come through cancer myself in 2016, I feel it was the exact opposite. Now that might sound strange to some of you. I just speak from my own personal experience. I absolutely was shocked and devastated when I got the news. But very quickly I understood what was going on. Everything starts energetically in the ethers first, in the invisible world, before it sort of makes its way into our physical body. There's sort of stages. And I can say I felt every single one of those stages without realizing it was going to, in my case, lead to illness. All of the feelings I had of dis-ease for many years, of escapism, of trying to not being in my body because it was so painful and uncomfortable, and not knowing what to do. So there were many factors, but what I can say, and I think we know this, that our bodies are always trying to get back into balance, into homeostasis. So if something is out of alignment in us, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, it eventually will show up in our body. So I see the body very much as a supremely intelligent, like the intelligence of the universe is in every single cell of our body. Knowing that, it's really sort of, I suppose, coming to see as well, the body is a very supportive, it is supporting us in trying to come back into balance and back into health. And that for me was the experience of cancer. It absolutely transformed me. I was open to it. I was ready for it. And that's why since then I have been working just very diligently, really, in becoming more embodied and working with my body, and just the changes that have come about as a result of it are just mind-blowing to me. Talk about what I see as being important. How do you do this? How do you become embodied? Or bring your awareness into your body? Well, obviously the first thing that probably comes to mind is your breath. Even if you just sit for a few minutes and start to, like a lot of meditation practices, focus on your breath, that straight away is bringing your attention into your body. And often at the beginning, when we start this, we can find it difficult if we start a particular practice, like say focusing on the breath through meditation. A lot of irritability might come up, or frustration or restlessness, because there is a lot. It's showing us what is stuck in our body, what wants to move. And often we'll go back up into our heads and start thinking about it rather than feel it. So it can be challenging at the beginning. And that is just one example. The breath is our lives. In Latin, the word breath comes from, I think it's spiritus. It's our spirit, it's our life force. It is us. So focusing there is bringing us back into our body. It's bringing us back into the essence of who we truly are. Breath, as I said, through meditation, is a practice that definitely is worth developing in different forms of meditation. Breath work, I'm a huge proponent of, because I've been actively doing a diaphragmatic breath work practice for the last, I think, since late 2020. And it is just kept me sane, brought me back into my body, kept me moving through processing life rather than, as I used to do in the past, pushing it down. So if you can, and the key with anything here, I know we hear it always mentioned, yoga is another thing. Yoga is a practice that I've really got into for the last year as well. There are other sort of movement practices that bring you into your body, like Tai Chi, Qigong, I think it is. Um, you can go and what I would say is if it's something you are not familiar with doing and haven't been doing, you may need to get support in doing this. Maybe you need to go firstly to a counselor and start talking through some issues maybe that you've buried, or understandably, which I did. My marriage broke down over 20 years ago, and it was a very, very difficult time of my life that I really pushed down and didn't feel or process for years. And it held me back. And I say this with compassion for myself. It was what I did, and I needed to do to survive. So there's no judgment here, but I just share what has been helping me since then, as I sort of went on a path of healing pre-cancer, but primarily since cancer. So yeah, it could be helpful to do that, to help yourself become embodied. There are a lot of therapists that work in that way. Going to a trauma release therapist, there are specific people who focus on that work. Other body work, or the release of emotions. You might feel or find, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I have in the past, maybe going for a massage or reflexology, suddenly being in that safe space and having someone work and help move the energies you might have released and cry. So all of those things are helping you come back into the body. It can be a little bit, it can be, I found it difficult at the beginning, but then you start to trust and you feel safer coming into your body and you come back into your power, and it's just magnificent, magnificent. There is no other way to live. You connect into your inner energy resource that is you, your life force, your spirit, and you then become unstoppable, really. The tree, the strong tree with strong roots, firmly planted, and the winds and the storms of whatever's going on in your life or is being released or in the world moves through. You see it, it's released, and you're still standing there strong and empowered. And it is just, I cannot recommend putting the focus on getting into your body fully, living in that place, like feeling it. The difference, even if you bring your awareness now, as we're sitting here going, I'm just bringing my intention, my awareness into my body. Now I've just done it there, and I can even feel myself become more centered, speaking a bit slower now, because that's another sign for me. When I start to go a little way up into my head rather than being really fully in my body, I start to speak faster. I'm not as connected. So even that simple thing to do, if you're out somewhere and you're feeling a little bit stressed or whatever, just even to bring your attention back and say, I'm grounding, I'm bringing my awareness back into my body. Loads of practices. The key to it is practice. And, you really start to see the benefits just by getting into a practice that will bring your attention back into your body and into your power. And I just want to finish by saying this to you. I don't say it in any way to be, oh, look at me, but because I'm so flawed and I have so many aspects of myself. I'm beautiful being, like we all are, but I'm still working through in this journey called life. But just to give you an example ever of the benefits or the prize in doing this, as I started after cancer, getting into different practices. It was about 3 years ago, I suppose, I really got into breath work, but I was doing other things before that and going to a therapist and all of that. In that time, I have written 2 books. I've trained as a life coach. I've trained as a Reiki master. I'm about to start in a 3rd book. I have some other training plan to support me as well in working with people. And I'm only saying that because, and it isn't, I really mean it, this isn't from an ego place at all. My desire and passion now is just to be of service and really step into what I'm meant to be doing and letting that unfold. It changes, I'm brought in different directions now, but this is the gift of it. I would have done none of what I have done, or I'm sure very little, if I hadn't learned to really come into my body, release and clear energies and blocks that were holding me back, because then we become a very clear channel to flow with life and to move, and life becomes very supportive. We start to hear our intuition more clearly, synchronicities show up, we act on them, then the universe responds. It just becomes a beautiful dance and flow with life. So yeah, thank you for listening. I really would recommend kickstarting your year in January by finding a practice that will bring you, or a number of practices that will help you come back into your body, which is where your power lies. And yeah, and it will really, I guarantee you, help you move through 2023 with ease and grace as much as possible. So thank you very much. And I'll just finish again by saying, if you do like my content, please like and subscribe, drop a comment, ask a question. I'd love to hear from you. Take care for now.